This is Marvel Universe Cyclops. He is Marvel Universe's 13th wave, wave 2 of Series 3, the 2011 series. Since this is my first video review in 1080p high definition, I wanted to do a figure that's really special to me, so I picked this one, the Jim Lee Cyclops. He is one of my all-time favorite figures. Definitely top 3 of my Marvel Universe. He's actually probably my absolute favorite figure. He's a phenomenal figure. This was a really breakthrough figure for Hasbro in terms of sculpt and articulation, and he's got amazing paint apps too. Let's get on to him in a second. First, let me show you his packaging. I really like Marvel Universe packaging. It's very simple, but it's still very cool, and I really like his. He looks great in the package. I really like the image they chose here. I'm not sure who the artist is, but I mean, it still looks great. And here's the back with a small bio and a picture of the figure, and even, you know, that's such a simple pose, he even looks great in that. Some figures from the rest of the wave, which I will be reviewing in 1080 HD. Alright, so he comes with a display base with his name and I guess production number on it. So that's nice. Okay, onto the figure. Like I said, he's the Jim Lee. This is the costume that Jim Lee designed when X-Men relaunched a second title in '92, and they it's not really a reboot, but they changed a lot of stuff. So they gave him an entirely new title, and a lot of X-Men, a lot of things that are happening in X-Men now stem from that reboot. I'll show you the comic. They actually just re-released it since it's the 20th year anniversary. Here's the re-release, and you know, there's this costume here. Here's the original that I have from '92. Now it's the same artwork by Jim Lee, except they added, you know, the modern liquid inking. I mean, look at the difference. This one just looks phenomenal. I'll show you another example. Here's a picture of Magneto in the original one. So, great artwork. The inking is a little bit dated. So let's open up the new one and compare them. I'm just doing this because I really like this series, and I don't know, I think you guys would like it too. So here's the original compared to the new one. I mean, look at the liquid inking in that one. Look at his eyes. That's just stuff I guess that they couldn't do back then. That it didn't have a way to do it inexpensively and efficiently. Alright, so now onto the figure for reals. I apologize for moving the camera around. I don't have a tripod for this camera yet, but I just ordered one off eBay, so all of that will be a thing of the past in the near future. Alright, so now let's take a look at his sculpts and paint. This is a real breakthrough sculpt for the Marvel Universe line. This is pretty much everybody's favorite sculpt. It certainly is mine. They've recycled it since. They used it for Commander Rogers and the Submariner and the Daredevil Bullseye 2-pack that just came out. And if they're going to have to recycle so much, then they should definitely use this one. This is definitely an amazing sculpt. Just the detail in it is just phenomenal. Look at all that muscle, and the paint is really nice too. It's got that base blue, and then really nice darker muscle shading. You know, that dry brushing and washing all over it. It's really prominent on Psych. It looks fantastic. All the joints are hidden really well too. His thigh swivel's hidden here, his boot swivel's hidden, his waist swivel's hidden by his belt, his wrist swivels are hidden. Very well designed figure. And speaking of the great design, he is the first Cyclops that can actually touch his visor. I mean, which is a real must. I mean, you think if they're going to give him the hand that, you know, is obviously sculpted for him to be touching his visor, you know, the previous Cyclops, you know, they couldn't touch it. They all just came, like, you know, that far away from it and couldn't do it. But he can touch it no problem. I mean, you don't even have to work at it to get him to touch it. He can touch it very easily. So that is a very nice thing. His head sculpt, I really like that. It looks really good. It's got that classic Cyclops hair, and just the texture in that it's really great. When you're shopping for this guy in the stores, I haven't seen many quality control issues with this figure. Mine, the X on his chest is just a little sloppy, so keep an eye out for that. The X on his belt as well. Make sure the red beam in his visor is nice and straight. Make sure this part of his mask is a nice straight line. Make sure his hairline is nice and clean. Just look for that stuff. Other than that, he shouldn't have many problems. The attention to detail on this guy, like I said, is phenomenal. There's one thing I forgot to show you. See his yellow belt. Aside from the blue, everything is this mono yellow. But these little pieces on his belt, these little pouches or buckles, whatever they are, they did it in gold highlights, and they didn't have to do that, but they did. The attention to detail on this guy is really phenomenal. His visor is a nice gold color too. So little things like that. I mean, he's just such a well-painted, just a well-crafted figure. A great thing about him is he is tall. He's the same sculpt as this Commander Rogers, so I'm going to use this Commander Rogers to compare him to Wolverine. Now look at that. I mean, Wolvie's a short character, and Cyclops he's tall. He's like over 6 feet tall. So I really like that they nailed his height. They just nailed this figure all around. All right, so let's take a look at his articulation. He's got amazing articulation. He's got a ball hinge head, swivels 360, looks up and down, and it moves back and forward. Ball hinge shoulders, so those swivel 360, move in and out. Swivel bicep, simple hinge elbow, swivel wrists. It's got a ball hinge chest, so that swivels 360, and it's got great back and forth, side to side movement. Swivel waist, ball hinge hips, swivel thigh, double hinge knee, swivel boot, and a swivel hinge foot. So that can go down and up, and also kind of do that side to side thing that it does. And the articulation in him is so good. You can get him in such great poses, and he stands very well. Even without his display stand, because of that great articulation on his feet, he stands really well. The only problem I have with the design of this guy is in his the articulation in his foot. That joint right there, see that in the yellow boot? It's a blue joint inside that. It's not a big thing. I mean, but they could have easily fixed that. It was just a little bit of yellow paint. That's Hasbro for you. But that's a very small thing. It's actually, I don't even consider it a problem because it's barely noticeable, and this figure is just so great all around. It's not a big deal. I just thought I would mention it for posterity's sake. Alright, so should you get this figure? Yes, I'm going to give you a resounding yes on that one. I'm going to say it, yeah, he is my favorite Marvel Universe figure, so I'm going to give you a big yes. You can find him in retail. I have 4 of these guys. Most of them I found at Walmart. You can find them on retail very easily if you just keep looking. Most places have been getting good stock of him. If not, you can find him online, and he's not really going to be price gouged. You can get him for a fair price online. So yeah, if I really think you should get this figure, especially if you're a fan of the X-Men. If you're not a fan of the X-Men, I would still get it, because this is one of the best Marvel Universe figures there are. The sculpt is amazing, the articulation is amazing, and he was the first figure to have this sculpt. So yeah, I definitely recommend him. He's awesome. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the 1080p video review, and until next time, keep collecting.